Hello everybody, you tuned in to Crackcore. Thank you for tuning in once again. I thoroughly appreciate the views, the likes, the subscribes. What can I say? It makes it all worthwhile. So on that note, I'm going to give another shout out this morning. Thank you to Mr. Gary Marshall. Thank you very much. I believe you are my biggest fan. And it makes it all very worthwhile having your feedback and what have you on the videos. So thank you very much for that. And thank you for being there from the beginning, from the start of the channel. I do believe you were in the first, at least 20 of the subscribers that I had about a year or so ago. It's slowly building, but thank you very much. It's people like yourself that make it all worthwhile. So, and also thank you for the words of encouragement. So today, I mean, we've got a few things. I mean, where are we today? Where are we at today? I mean, you've got kids dying, haven't you? You've got kids dying. You've got people being sacked for not taking the prick, for not having the double prick. I mean, you've got people being refused jobs for not taking the double prick as well. I mean, we're living in a very strange world at the minute, aren't we? Because it's actually been admitted to at this point that the double prick doesn't actually do anything with regards to your immunity towards COVID. I'm just going to have to say it because it's actually out there now in the public domain. Mr. Boris has actually said that it doesn't stop you catching it or passing it on. His words. Remember, this is what people were being censored for last year when people actually came out and said this. Remember? Doctors, many doctors, even in America, were saying this. It doesn't stop you passing it on, it doesn't stop you catching it, and all of these things. And they were being censored for it. They were being called out, losing their careers. I mean, sacked for saying the truth. But because it didn't fit the public agenda, the given narrative, and the New World Order agenda, because it didn't fit any of this, and it still doesn't. However, they've had to change what they've been saying a little bit, haven't they? They've had to kind of make it fit their agenda, because now they want you to take the next step, which is the boosters. Now, so, they've also now said that children between 5 and 11 are going to be offered the double prick. Oh, fuck's sakes, man. Children between 5 and 11. If you look at some of these statistical graphs and tables and what have you, it says that people below a certain age bracket have got a 100% survival rate from COVID. And I'm pretty sure that these children are in that bracket. So ultimately, when is it a viable fucking option to start vaccinating people that are quite literally immune, naturally? Why? I mean, you could say that, and you got the argument, haven't you? Because everybody's got an argument against common sense at the minute. Have you noticed that? People all say, yeah, well, yeah, but this, yeah, but that. You know, at the minute, you could say, I can hear the voices coming in. Yeah, but you could be a fucking asymptomatic spreader, right? So then factor in all the other statistics into that argument. And it completely quells and nullifies it. It gets rid of it. Because ultimately, you take into account the severity, the percentages of the survival rates in certain age brackets, which are very fucking high. And the lower the age gets, the higher the fucking survival rate gets. And let me tell you, it's in the fucking upper 90s, no matter what fucking age bracket you're in. So are you telling me that at this point, being an asymptomatic spreader is really all that fucking bad? Most people that have this fucking say, oh, well, I had a cough, I had a bit of a sniffle. Oh, hold on a minute, let's stop the press. You know, let's fucking shut the world down for a cough. Christ. Now, I completely understand protecting the vulnerable, protecting the weak. Okay. What are the weak and the vulnerable doing to protect themselves, is what I say. Are these people taking their double prick? If so, well, then they're protected, aren't they? Oh, no, they're not. Because actually it doesn't stop anything. But let's force everybody to get it anyway. Let's shame everybody into getting it anyway. You know, let's tell people they can only have a job if they've had it anyway. Well, okay. So now we're no better off. So ultimately, it's exactly the same situation, but you've had a fucking, you know, an injection. Right. Is there any argument against that common sense? Please tell me if there is. Because I'd like to hear it. I would absolutely love to hear the argument against that common sense. Because I don't feel as though there is any common sense to fucking defy mine in that situation. Why is it okay? This is my question. Why is it okay to mandate people, to force people and to blackmail people into doing something which doesn't help a situation whatsoever, simply on the basis that the government is saying it's got to be done? These people, no doubt, that are proven to be untrustworthy, proven to be self-serving. Oh yeah, let's all get behind them. Let's all get behind them and say, yes, master, we'll do as we're told. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And if you start looking at the situation through the eyes of common sense, well, no, through the eyes of sense, it's not that common anymore. I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and how nice it was to speak to a like-minded soul. Because, well, I suppose we feel as though we're few and far between, don't we? But actually we're not. He was saying that he was refused a job based on the grounds of not having the double prick. Even though he was given the job, they then revoked the acceptance of his application based on the fact that he wasn't jabbed. This is the way it's starting to become. I mean, I spoke to somebody today who is getting the sack from his job on Friday. He is no longer employed by the people who have employed him for years. They have basically given him the boot because he's refused to get the fucking double prick. Do you know what he does? He's a grounds maintenance man and he cuts the grass. He doesn't even go in the building. He cuts the fucking grass. So hold on a minute. I mean, let's just look at the fucking situation here. Let's just analyse this. You know? Because at what point does cutting the grass really put anybody at risk? I mean, yeah, if he coughs on the grass, let's say he's got COVID and he coughs on the grass, do the people who live at this place go around licking the grass after he's cut it? Probably not. I mean, I'm going to have to go out on a fucking limb and say probably not. Because if they did, well, I think it's them that need to actually be locked up and looked at very closely. Because I don't see how somebody outside cutting the grass is a danger to anybody. Are they? But yet he's being sacked because he refuses to have the double prick. Now, this is disgusting, and you see, it's down to us, the people. It's down to us. This isn't the government doing this. There are many companies out there that are accepting people whether or not they've had the double prick. There are many companies out there that are doing this. It's a personal choice. But you see, some people are fucking going along with it, and some people aren't. And it's okay, right? Look, I'm going to have to just come out and say, look, it's okay. I mean, it's not okay to sack somebody for not having the double prick, but we get it. You know, people like myself, we get it. We're not fucking stupid. We've still got, a thimble full of sense, which is a miracle given the fucking 2 years we've just lived through. But it's okay, we get it, right? We completely understand. There are people out there that have just basically fallen for a really fucking good lie. And you got to think about it. If the government are going to this extent, a lot of people are going to go, well, fucking hell, well, they wouldn't lie about this. It's too big to lie about. So we get it. It's easier to believe. Because I suppose as human beings, we want to trust because we're trusting people. So we tend to trust people rather than distrust them. You know what? That's a good quality. It's a good trait. It's something that you should have. But you should run it through the bullshit filter as well. And if there are many people that are coming out and saying factual stuff against that which it is you have chosen to believe, and in my opinion wrongly, then you've got to start listening to them. Stop taking it as an attack against your common sense, because there is no attack against your common sense aside from that which the governments and the media are imposing upon you. Now, have you noticed? The government will put all the information on their website. You look at gov.uk, go on the website and have a look at the information, because they are telling you the truth via their own website, or at least more of the truth, because they've got to cover their arses. But at the same time, they're telling the media, quite obviously, that the same people are telling the media to lie about it. And that's because these people know that en masse, the masses will believe what the media says. And they will take it at face value, because if it's on the news, it's the news. Therefore, it's reporting on the truth, right? This is the way we've been programmed, is to believe this. So they know that you will take it at face value if you've got these trustworthy individuals speaking through the idiot box that's full of all kinds of technologies that are able to control your mind through fucking radio frequencies. Trust me, the technology is out there. I've shared a link to the patent on this piece of technology on one of my other videos. If they're speaking to you through the idiot box with all of this stuff ingrained within it and all the fucking subliminal messaging through the imagery and stuff, well, you're bound to believe it at face value, aren't you? Of course you are. But at the same time, what you've got is the government themselves giving you the actual information, because they know full well they want you to go along with it. They want you to believe a lie. They want you to do as you're told. They don't want you to look at the actual information. That's why they're going to such a fucking degree of lying to you through the media, knowing that you're going to follow it, but at the same time putting the actual information out on their real websites. So when it all comes down to it, if there's ever a fucking court case against them, they can turn around and say, sorry, governor, we told them. Their information was there. They chose not to look at it. I mean, yeah, they chose to believe a lie. And you see, when you start looking at the occult nature of these people, no, occult is the wrong word, because occult simply means unhidden or unknown. So, the cultish, let's just say, the cult-like fashion that these people work within, the cult-like nature of these people, let's just come out and say it, they're all into some strange, possibly satanic, cult-like fucking bits and bobs, stuff. Ritualism and all this kind of shit. So when you start looking at that, you start to be able to see then, they've got to tell you what they're doing. Even though they're lying to you on one hand, they've got to tell you what they're doing so they can get away with it. It's as simple as that. Because if they're telling you, they can get away with it. Because then if it ever comes back, whether it's through universal karma or whether it's through the actual legal system that they set up themselves, the loophole is, if they tell you about it, it's your fault, sir. And it is. It is our fault. And this is my point. It is our fucking fault at this point. Because we're choosing, at this point, we're choosing to be ignorant. Because the information is there and we are choosing to argue and to try and disprove the people that are trying to help. Through this, through doing all of this, what's happening is you're creating a world where free speech and free thought, freedom itself, at its fucking fundamental base level, is being outlawed and ridiculed. Can you not see that? At what point does freedom and the right to freedom become ridicule? At what time does it become something that needs to be fought against? Unless you are being brainwashed into believing that freedom is wrong. And who would make you believe that freedom is wrong? Because you haven't always thought that, surely. You weren't born a fascist. So ultimately, if you start to believe that freedom is wrong, well, it's quite possibly because of an outside force telling you that. And you've just chosen to believe it because you've given into the fear-based mind control and all the lying and subterfuge. But okay, fair enough. We've got to that. We understand that. But what kind of people are going to do that to you? Not nice people, are they? It's not nice people that are going to fucking lie to you and try and make you believe that freedom is wrong, that freedom is worth ridicule, that freedom is, to be outlawed. Freedom of speech is to be outlawed. These people aren't nice people. And guess who these people are? They are the same, very, very same people that are telling you to take the double prick for freedom. They are telling you to take the double prick for jobs. They are telling you that they can take your Christmas away if you don't go and get tested, if you don't go and get boosters. The boosters, quite possibly, may not work. Just like the double prick hasn't worked. And if you noticed, Pfizer have now released a tablet form. Of course they have. Because there is so much fucking pushback against vaccines. Because vaccines themselves do have a mountain of evidence against them. So therefore, they've got to come out with a different way of doing this. They've got to come out with a different way to stop people being against it. And if they can do that, if they can say, well, now it's not a vaccine though, now it's not an injection, it's a tablet instead, then those people that are desperate not to have their world shattered, those people that are desperate not to have to fucking look at this because they want to remain ignorant because they're scared to accept that all of this has just been one big fucking bollocky lie. These people have now got more ammo to throw at the people that are saying, question it. Because now their justification will be, not that, it's all, jabs are okay. Now it's, well, you've got a tablet, take that instead. Oh, okay. Well, you've got a nasal spray, take that instead. You don't have to inject children, they've just got a nasal spray, it's okay. It's fine. We'll wrap it up in cotton wool. See, because with each step, they're trying to make it easier. And in fact, they're trying to make it easier for them to overthrow the population, but they're trying to make it harder for the population to push back through public policing. Because the public will now police this. The public will say, well, you don't have to worry about an injection anymore, do you? Even though they were saying that injections were safe, they'll say, well, you don't have to worry about it anymore, do you? Now you've got a tablet, just take a tablet. Why should you have to, is my point. Why should you have to? If you look at all the other information, there are two pieces of information, and I've said this from the start. You've got to look at these two pieces of information. The percentages of the actual mortality rates in each different age brackets. Look at that. And then look at the fact that, admittedly, the numbers themselves for the severe cases and deaths have been intentionally fluffed out and made bigger than what they actually are, based on the fact that they will count anything as a death from COVID so long it's within a certain amount of time after a positive test. So look at those two pieces of information. Would they need to do that if it was severe? Then you look at the actual severity rates and you say, well, actually, no. If somebody told you that you had an above 95% of winning the jackpot on the lottery should you put £10,000 on it the following day, if you put your life savings on it and you got a 95% chance of winning, you'd go 95%. Okay, I'll do it. Because that's kind of a dead cert. I mean, if somebody said put a fiver on a horse, you got a 95% chance of winning, or above 95% chance, you'd say, well, fucking hell, take my money. Shut up and take my money. But yeah, somebody says you've got a 95% chance of, an above 95% chance of surviving from something. You go, oh no, take a jab. Take a fucking tablet. Now they're having to come out with tablets to give children to stop the blood clots. I mean, why do they need to take it in the first place? And the thing is, you get shamed and ridiculed because you say, no, actually, I don't want to do this. And people say, well, why? Why don't you want to do it? Why are you putting people at risk? Well, I'm not quite clearly putting anybody at risk, or at least at any more risk than what they would be put at. Should, you know, I had or hadn't had it. In fact, why should you be shamed at all when some of the side effects are actually death? And people say, well, yeah, well, people die from vaccines, for anything. Yeah, but does it make it okay? Does it make it something that needs to be enforced to get a fucking job? That's not allowed, man. That is fucking fascism. And you know, when you're allowing yourself, and you're allowing people to be censored on the internet, you remember what the Nazis did? The Nazis decided what it was they wanted people to be exposed to with regards to literature and with regards to art and all of these things, but mainly literature. You know, the written form of information, books and stuff. So the Nazis, what they did was, they decided what it was they wanted what they wanted people to be exposed to. And what they did was everything that they didn't want people to be exposed to, they burned the books, didn't they? They fucking burned them and they took them out of circulation, because guess what? If something is written in a book, they can't edit it, can they? Because it's there, it's in the physical format. It's on somebody's fucking shelf. And as the generations go by, what happens is these books slowly go out of circulation, bookshops will stop selling them, and people will die. Their books will end up being on the fucking tip anyway, because what youngster, given an iPad, wants to inherit their grandfather's book collection? Probably not. So they get chucked in a fucking skip and gone anyway. My point is this. When people are being censored on the internet, it's tantamount to burning books, because what they're doing is they're deciding what it is they want you to be exposed to. And all the other information that's on the internet is written by a human being, and therefore editable by another human being. People go, oh, well, it's on this official website. Well, what does that mean? Because this official website, it's written by somebody. A human being has sat down behind a computer and wrote this thing out and then submitted it to the website. Yes, it's an official website, But they can say whatever they want under their little fucking banner of officialdom, can't they? Plus, these people can also be corrupted with money. And then you've got these super rich elite people that seem to show up everywhere at the minute with their fingers in, their little chubby fingers in all of these fat little fucking pies. And who's got the juice then? Who's got the money to be bribing people to say what it is they want them to say? Well, you'd need an awful lot of money to be able to do that, to buy off a lot of people, wouldn't you? Well, these people have got billions. In the region of 200 billion. Remember, a billion is 1,000 million. It's a million times 1,000. So if you spent £1 million a year, you could live for 1,000 years off that £1 billion. 1,000 years worth of money in 1 billion. So these people have got 200,000 years worth of money. We live for around about, I don't know, 70, 80 years. So you tell me, do these people really need that, or do they need it for a purpose? Is it a weapon? Of course it is. Money is weaponized. So on that point, I'm going to say, this is Crackcore. I'm going to sign off here. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thank you again to everybody who's watched these videos. Thank you to the people who've subscribed. If you're a new subscriber, thank you very much. And yeah, man, love and peace to all things everywhere. This is Crackcore signing off. Peace.